So still drinking, out of the Army, not doing the police work, but security. And then not really wanting to drink, but not being able to stop. That's when it got really bad. And I think this is like an AA prologue, but it got to the point where I just had blackouts. Go out and check your car, see if it's still there, and see if any damage is on it. All these things that are just terrible for people to get to. And but not being able to, because people don't understand alcoholism half the time. And you just, with all your heart, want to stop and pray that you can. And there's no way, God, you just cannot do it yourself. And I have to add this because I didn't want to live anymore, because I was just so down and out. And it was crazy. I couldn't stop, and I could not. I had to drink. It was just an obsession. Looking for an AA meeting. And it was back before cell phones, before things. You look for, take a right here or a left here, go down this way and look for this, this road sign to say, okay, there's a cow on this mini mart, and once you see that, take it right into the church. There's the AA meeting. Okay. And I'm driving around in circles. And I was just going crazy. And I thought I was driving around for, an hour and a half, probably 20 minutes or so, lost. And I threw up my hands, and not all the foxhole prayers that I said through my head all those years to say, if you help me through this hangover, I'll never drink again, and it never worked. But from here, I said, I give up. And the next place I see, I'm going to go buy as much alcohol and kill myself. It was throwing my hands up and surrendering and just giving up everything myself. And the next thing I saw was this cow on this mini mart, and I took it right into the church, into the AA meeting. It wasn't me that did that. It was the higher power. It was God. He brought me in at that instant. And from that instant, I had never wanted a drink, never had to have a drink, never needed a drink again in the rest of my life. It can only be categorized as a miracle. There's no way, because it took only that, everything I had to give up. And then he stepped in and says, yep, this is what it is. Amazingly, I didn't realize it for 8 months that I didn't have to have a drink. It didn't occur to me. I was just such a fog trying to recover from so many years of poisoning myself that when I finally realized that 8 months later is when I had the enlightenment from God. I was working out, of course, at a gym, and I was the manager of the weight room. And this woman came up to me with a little book from White Eagle. You never know where God is. He's everywhere. And I didn't know her. I didn't know if she belonged to the club or not. She says, do you meditate? I said, yeah, why? Here, I got something for you. So she goes out and comes back with this little tiny book and hands it to me. Here you go. I said, oh my God, thank you. And I just read it page by page. It's just a daily thing, very short readings while my car's warming up or whatever to go to work. And one time I'm sitting there and it just hit me. I was taken into heaven. I was given that light that everything, I could manipulate matter. I could do whatever it was to the world. I had all control. God was there. I was with God. We're all one. There was no darkness. It was all just shadows. Everything was bright, brilliant. And, if you ever had a near-death experience where everything is so much crystal clear, the colors are so much brighter, this is even more than that. And it was that I was out of myself and seeing everything. The conundrum is that everything is the way it's supposed to be. God has already put it there. He's already made this. And to know that is the miracle itself too. And to have that, it was for a reason. Because 5 years later, I was sober, and I got bitten by a mosquito when I was in Korea. And it gave me a little parasite called filariasis. And it turns into, once it manifests and clogs your lymphatic system, it turns into elephantiasis. So I'm working out at the gym. I'm doing really well. I'm sober. My father's still alive, and he passed in 2001. I did that in 91. And I had been, now all of a sudden my ankle goes over my shoe for no reason. I met my second wife. I had divorced my first wife just because I was lost and thought I was found, and I divorced her and I found another woman, and this, just life happens. And it kept progressing. My father said, this is the only thing I can come up with. It's elephantiasis. I said, oh, okay. It took me 4 years to find a doctor who knew what this was, because you can't get it in the United States. But yet 170 million people have this in the world. And the doctors of the US don't even know about this. It's a very, very strange but cool disease that I had gotten, and it lay dormant for 13 years, this parasite. Now, once it does its damage, then it can progress. And my left calf got over 32 inches around of lymphedema. If you look up elephantiasis, it's not a fun disease.
Oh, my goodness.
It's crazy. I was then remarried for a year when the onset. And then I said, well, see what marriage does to you. It's just a little bit of something. But it kept progressing until it got to the point, it would go into the arms, and it was very, very painful. Oh, it's so painful as it progresses. And got to the point where I couldn't walk anymore. I had two beautiful young daughters. And by the time they were 6 and 7, I was then, my meniscus tears in both knees and other things happening. And I was pretty much bedridden. I could get up for little things, but I couldn't do anything too much. And for years. And it was amazing that I still never wanted to drink. You want an excuse to drink? Be an invalid. I mean, what other excuse do you want? How far down do you want, But God said,
what's that like? That's got to be, holy cow, just absolutely life-changing. I can't imagine the calf being like
32 inches around.
That's like,
I think it's a waist.
That's like somebody's waist.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Larger than that. And there's no cure. There's just maintenance. You compression. You wrap yourself up like a mummy with these ace bandage looking things. And
wow,
every day. It's a daily thing. And it got to be so much. It was, but for me, I would go to the hospital and I would get infections. And the doctors would look at the chart saying, oh, are you in pain? I said, yes, I'm in pain, immense pain. And they would say, but you're smiling. Wait a minute. On the chart, it's crying if you're in pain, and it's kind of, you're really happy when there's no pain at all. And I was really happy. I was like, they said, well, you're smiling. Are you really? I said, yeah, you don't understand. This is a second life for me. That enlightenment from God brought me to today. I have never forgotten that. I've never let that go. I'm trying to get it back in that intensity, which isn't coming the same way. And I now know that it's not going to come the same way, because I had not that low that I could be risen this high. So I'm not going to feel that elated height. And even if I get to that point, it's not going to be as overwhelming to me as it had been, because I was so down. I gave up everything, and then God took me there.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, it's like you have to be super down to
feel, not just to get it, but to feel that it's like, getting a bungee thing on the opposite way, but getting so lifted up so high, so quickly that you're like in awe of just the magnitude of it all. And if you're still got that light and spiritual awareness and you hold that with you, you're closer. So you're not going to get that elated feeling, such like a boomerang effect where it's not, but it happens that you're already there pretty much. And every once in a while I get that outside myself when I still meditate during the days.